Well, I was gonna chop some trees for background footage for this video, but this medium clue scroll just popped up and intercepted that plan, so we're gonna do this while I talk about stuff. If you're a longtime viewer of mine, then you may not have noticed this at all, because it used to be the norm for my channel, but I've not really been around much lately. I mean, Nightmare Mode videos have obviously slowed down a lot on the main channel. I basically stopped posting on social media entirely, but I also haven't been posting as much as I usually do on this second channel as well, and I know a lot of you want to know more about that. There's a lot to get into, and I genuinely don't know how else to start, so let's start at the beginning. A few months ago, I woke up one morning and my neck was completely locked up. Like, I thought this was just a normal stiff neck problem. Like, you ever have that? You just sleep wrong one day and then you just kind of feel iffy the next day. This was not one of those times. Turns out I pinched a nerve in my upper spine in my sleep, which gave me about like 10 to 15 degrees of mobility, looking left, right, up, down, like just from sleeping in some screwed up way. I had no control over it, and it basically took me like 2-3 full months to almost entirely regain my mobility. I did lots of physical therapy, MRI, I got muscle relaxers. I'm finally back to normal, but that was sort of how the end of 2024 was for me. Extremely understimulating because I couldn't do anything that was bringing me joy. No gym, not even really video games, because I would involuntarily tense up and I was struggling to get anything productive done. And it came at a time in my life where I was at my happiest. Like, I had built all these great routines, I had worked on myself so much, and I had all this going for me, and just out of nowhere, you pinch a nerve in your spine in your sleep, and the momentum just died that day. It put me into a pretty big slump that I'm still kind of crawling out of. I got sent straight to the cavern of burnout, and I feel like I'm an extremely optimistic person, so I'm obviously still super grateful that it wasn't worse, and there's plenty for me to appreciate about life. I'll come back better than I was before. It's just gonna take some time. With that has come a bit of a neglect for my content, Nightmare Mode especially. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. I only really hinted at this in episode 20 of the series, but the next Nightmare Mode episode, episode 21, will be the finale. And that's not any kind of spoiler, it's just how I always intended for it to be. Phase 3 will be attempted in episode 21. If it's completed, the series ends. If I take damage, the series ends. Episode 21 is the final one. As with any finale, I always take my time with it. I try to make it special no matter what it is. I wish I could say more about it. I would love to talk about phase 3 and give you some info, but I'm just gonna wait. It'll be better if I tell you nothing, as much as it pains me to do that. That being said, I've taken a lot longer to make this finale than I intended, and you can refer to all the stuff I started this ramble with. I like to think I would have had it done by now usually, and I'm really excited to be done with Nightmare Mode. I genuinely think starting a new series will fix me, and I kind of think that's what I need. I need to obsess about something again. The thing with Nightmare Mode is it's just really stressful. I mean, that's obvious, but I mean really, really stressful. You can't even realistically have it be a side monitor thing. RuneScape is so ingrained into my muscle memory that I could always have a show on or have a conversation with someone, but those things are suddenly risks when it comes to a Nightmare Mode account and to the series, which is incredibly understimulating and ultimately stressful. But that's because I care about the account so much, you know? I don't want to log in and take damage to something stupid. I want to relax again, and 2024 probably had my lowest hours played on RuneScape since like 2015. I wasn't on the game very much because I couldn't always put myself in the Nightmare Mode environment willingly. I have to work up the courage to play, and it's so different from Swampletics or Tileman, where I was basically always logged in because, you know, why not? It's like a love-hate relationship with the Nightmare account in comparison, because I simultaneously care about it a lot, but I care about it to the point where it makes me not want to play it because I can make such a simple mistake at any point. And don't get me wrong, I knew what I was signing up for. I knew this would be high effort, high stakes, challenging. I wanted to feel challenged in the game again, and I wanted to do something so crazy that had never been done before. That's kind of what I always aim for when I start a new series. I want to do something brand new. But I think for whatever my next series is, I'm going to retune that a little bit and find something that I can just not be stressed to play. That being said, I have still loved Nightmare Mode, and obviously there's only one episode left, so we're on the brink of a finale. it's going to be over before we know it. Right now, I'm looking at March to hopefully get that finale episode out and done. That's about all I can give you timeline-wise right now. I originally started Nightmare Mode because I had such a crazy goal for myself in 2024, and that was to hit 1 million subscribers, which was always going to be a letdown. That was never going to happen, but I thought I'd kind of like, shoot for the moon, reach the stars sort of thing. You know how it goes. But attaching my self-worth to that number was always a recipe for disaster, and now I'm just not gonna do that. I've decided I'm sure I'll hit 1 million subscribers eventually, like it is still my lifelong goal, but it's not something that's gonna be on the forefront of my mind anymore. I just want to go back to making the best videos I can possibly make. Everything else will put itself together if I can just focus on doing that. I just tend to get insanely obsessive when I set goals like this. It's the only thing I think about. It's the only thing I go after, but it's time to recalibrate. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Fun fact, the Nightmare Mode finale was almost canceled recently because my main hard drive completely bricked. It had all of my Nightmare Mode footage, my Grandmaster footage, all of my footage for everything, actually. My OneDrive backed up like 60% of the recordings, but it had nothing from the last 3 months. Thankfully, I managed to clone the corrupted drive, save all of the recordings. It was like a multi-day process. The only thing I really lost were the settings for every program I've ever used, so I've just been trying to get those back slowly, like RuneLite, OBS, Premiere, all my recording settings, audio settings. It's been rough out here recently, but slowly getting them back. Just to briefly mention the second channel, if you're new around here, I have a series called McTile to Grandmaster where I took the Tileman account from the main channel, de-ironed it to continue the journey, and I'm trying to get Grandmaster on it. It's my first time playing an account with 0 restrictions in, I don't know, a decade, and I'm just trying to complete every combat task in the game. It's a fun little side series for me. It's pretty slow, but I just wanted to say that series will also re-accelerate after Nightmare Mode ends. It's a fun little side project for me, and if you want to watch it, there's a bunch of episodes on this channel if you're new here. Oh yeah, let's talk about social media, or I guess more so Twitter, because that's like the only social media that I've ever been on as a creator. I kind of soft quit it the last couple months because I just kind of realized it wasn't contributing to my happiness. There was no chance my day would ever get better when I opened Twitter. It would just only potentially get worse. There's just nonstop rage bait and sadness and hate on there. So I just decided to delete it. And honestly, it was a really good decision for me personally. I'm not saying everyone should do it or anything like that. I'm not saying it's the right way to do anything. I'm just saying what worked for me. It just generally made me happier, I think. That being said, as a creator, I do still kind of want to post sometimes, so it's a little catch-22. I had to re-download it recently to make this tweet about Golden Gnomes. I got 4 nominations for Golden Gnomes this year, which is crazy. That actually made me feel pretty loved recently because, I didn't tell anyone to nominate me, or I didn't plug it anywhere, I didn't, talk about it anywhere, so you guys just wrote me in for 4 different categories, so thank you. That was genuinely sweet. I feel imposter syndrome about the nominations this year and just general in my content because I haven't really been posting and I went into that big slump and I feel like I just haven't been making the best things I could be making. So I definitely don't feel like a Golden Gnome nominee this year, but it's also been a while since I've been up for one because the last 2 years I withdrew myself from nomination. I didn't want to be that guy that stole the Golden Gnome from creators who really deserved it, so it has been a while. So I'll leave the link in the description. If you want to vote for me, I got nominated for Gamer of the Year, which is insane. That was so cool to see. I will literally never be eligible for that ever again, so I would genuinely love to win that one. I'm so outclassed in this list, but this is my one chance, okay? I had a miracle run on Gillenor Games, and Nightmare Mode happened last year. The other guys on this list are insanely talented, and all of them are better than me, but if I ever have a chance, this will be the only time I get nominated for it, so I would love to win it. Yeah, link will be in the description, and if you guys want to vote, also vote for Soup for Gillenor Games. It was a masterpiece. That's just my 2 cents. But ultimately, vote for who you think deserves it. There's so many talented creators that got nominated this year. I'm sure you'll recognize a lot of them. But yeah, other than that, Nightmare finale in March. After that, probably some one-off videos. I want to reboot the main Ultimate Iron Man this year as well. And I'm thinking really hard about what I want to do after Nightmare Mode right now. And I have been for months. I've got some ideas in the pipeline, but I'm just going to keep them in the oven or whatever. I really want to thank you guys for being patient, though. And if you're coming to RuneFest, I'm excited to see you there. Come say hi to me. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.